The path doesn't lead you, it walks with you.
Here, space feels protective, not empty.
Care shows itself in the smallest places.
Nothing asks them to move, so they rest.
As the view expands, worry becomes smaller.
These corridors were shaped by patience.
Stillness doesn't stop life, it steadies it.
Soft horizons give the mind room to breathe.
Everything moves forward without needing force.
Crossing feels different when you stop trying to arrive.
And here, being present feels complete.
The valley doesn't demand your attention, it earns your trust.
Beauty doesn't resist the rain, it carries it.
Nothing here rushes, because nothing is chasing. Some sounds remind you how small urgency really is.
When the path narrows, awareness widens.
Safety often arrives quietly.
Soft horizons give the body permission to rest.
Everything continues without asking why.
And here, nothing needs to change to feel whole.
The land accepts every drop without resistance. Distance feels shorter when the world grows quiet.
Peace doesn't arrive suddenly, it settles.
Even the hardest surfaces learn how to let go. As the view opens, the weight lifts. These passages were shaped by time, not speed.
Stillness is not stopping, it's choosing. Soft edges make space for calm.
And here, remaining feels more natural than moving on.
Everything moves forward without effort.
The ground knows where the water belongs and never argues. Nothing here competes for attention. It simply exists.
Age shows itself honestly in the rain.
Stillness becomes easier when nothing asks you to change.
Sometimes, sound arrives before understanding.
These paths were made for unhurried days.
Calm doesn't hide. It rests in plain sight.
When edges soften, The body follows.
Everything moves without needing encouragement. And here, staying feels like the most natural choice. Every step feels quieter when the land absorbs the sound.
The valley doesn't open itself all at once. It asks for patience.
Care shows itself in what is protected, even in the rain. They don't wait for calm. They live inside it. Some places speak first through sound. These streets were shaped by time, not urgency.
Safety often arrives quietly.
When the view softens, the mind follows. Everything continues without needing direction.
And here, being present feels like enough.
The fence doesn't divide the land, it simply follows it. The valley doesn't pull you forward, it asks you to stay. Overflow doesn't mean excess, it means abundance.
Together, even the rain feels lighter.
Some truths are heard long before they are seen.
These steps were carved for patience.
Calm doesn't avoid the storm, it lives inside it.
Soft horizons teach the body to rest.
Everything finds its way without force. And here, staying feels more honest than moving on. When the world leans in close, attention becomes effortless.
Nothing here competes, everything cooperates.
Of learning. Repetition teaches the body how to rest.
Stillness isn't waiting, it's trusting.
Some places speak first through sound. These corridors were shaped by time, not speed.
Calm doesn't hide, it stays.
When edges soften, the body follows.
Everything moves without needing permission. And here, remaining feels like the most natural choice.
The path holds the rain quietly, just as it holds your weight.
This place doesn't rush your thoughts, it slows them.
Care shows itself in what remains standing.
Nothing here needs to move to feel alive.
Some moments are felt long before they are seen.
These streets remember patience.
Calm doesn't announce itself, it settles.
When edges disappear, rest becomes possible.
Everything continues without needing effort. And here, simply staying feels complete. The earth absorbs every step without complaint.
Up here, distance feels kind, not far.
Time slows when nothing interrupts it.
They don't wait for calm. They recognize it.
Some truths arrive first as sound.
These walls have learned how to wait.
Safety doesn't always look dramatic.
The land releases its sharpness and rests.
Everything continues without urgency.
And here, peace doesn't arrive. It's already here.
Care reveals itself in what is maintained.
Stillness doesn't mean stopping. It means trusting.
When edges fade, rest becomes possible. The ground accepts every step without judgment. Some places are understood first by sound. This valley doesn't echo noise. It absorbs it.
These streets remember a slower pace.
Calm doesn't hide. It stays.
Everything continues without asking. And here, staying feels like the truest choice.
The land remembers every passing, just long enough to let it go.
Nothing here competes for space, and everything belongs.
Time shows itself in small, repeating circles.
They don't wait for peace, they stand inside it.
Some places speak before they appear.
These passages were shaped by patience, not speed.
Calm doesn't resist the storm. It adapts.
When edges soften, the body follows.
Everything continues without needing direction.
And here, staying feels like the most honest answer.
The land doesn't rush to dry. It lets the moment stay.
Here, space feels gentle, not empty.
Repetition teaches the body how to rest. Nothing here needs permission to be calm.
Sometimes you hear peace before you see it. These streets were built for slower days.
Stillness isn't absence, it's awareness.
When edges fade, the mind loosens.
Everything continues without being pushed.
And here, being present feels like the only thing needed.
Even beauty learns how to bow without breaking.
The valley doesn't speak loudly. It doesn't need to.
Time leaves its signature where patience lives.
Shelter isn't always a place. Sometimes it's a moment.
Some truths arrive as sound before they take shape. These paths remember every unhurried step.
Stillness is not stopping, it's choosing.
When edges soften, the body exhales.
Everything finds its direction without effort.
And here, peace doesn't arrive. It's already present.
The stones remember every season and still welcome your step.
Here, the landscape doesn't overwhelm, it steadies.
Craft lives on in the details that endure the weather.
Some places speak first through sound.
Nothing asks them to hurry, so they don't.
These passages were shaped by patience, not speed.
Calm doesn't avoid the storm, it adapts to it.
When edges fade, the body relaxes.
Everything continues without needing to be pushed. And here, staying feels like the most natural answer. The land doesn't resist the rain. It receives it. Nothing here demands attention. Everything invites presence. Repetition becomes comfort when nothing interrupts it.
They don't wait for peace, they live inside it.
Some moments are understood first by sound.
These streets were built for unhurried days.
When edges fade, the body exhales.
Stillness doesn't mean stopping. It means trusting.
Everything continues without needing force.
And here, being present feels like enough.
Every sound softens here, even your own thoughts.
This place doesn't distract you. It returns you.
Care lives in what endures the weather.
They don't wait for calm, they recognize it.
Some truths arrive as sound before they take shape.
These corridors were shaped by patience.
Stillness doesn't hide, it stays. Ira Llewellyn.
When edges disappear, the body rests.
Everything continues without being pushed.
And here, staying feels like the truest choice.
The land listens first, then responds with calm. Here, the world doesn't pull you forward, it holds you still.
Time reveals itself in the smallest movements.
They don't search for peace. They stand inside it. Some places are understood before they are seen.
These paths were shaped for patience.
Stillness isn't absence, it's presence. When edges soften, the body relaxes.
Everything continues without needing effort.
And here, staying feels like the most natural thing to do.
The ground softens your steps, as if asking you to slow down.
Nothing here demands movement. It allows it.
Care is visible in what continues to bloom.
They don't react to the rain, they include it.
Some places speak through sound long before sight. These passages were never meant to be rushed.
Stillness is not stopping, it's listening.
When the view fades, the feeling remains.
Everything moves without urgency.
And here, nothing needs to change to feel complete.
The water knows its way without ever needing directions. Here, the valley doesn't impress you. It reassures you.
They don't search for peace. They stand inside it.
Time passes gently when nothing is forced.
Some truths are heard long before they are seen.
These streets were shaped for slower days.
Stillness isn't empty, it's full.
When edges soften,
The body follows.
Everything continues without needing effort. And here, staying feels like the most natural thing of all. They don't resist the moment, they live inside it. These passages were never meant to be rushed.
Everything continues without needing direction.
Stillness isn't absence, it's awareness.
Some places speak first through sound, then through silence.
When the world feels close, the mind feels clear.
And here, staying feels more honest than moving on.
Repetition becomes calm when nothing interrupts it.
Nothing here competes for your attention. It simply stays. When edges disappear, the body relaxes.
The land doesn't hurry to recover. It allows the rain its time.
Here, space feels protective, like a quiet embrace.
Time reveals itself when nothing is rushed.
They don't wait for peace. They remain within it.
Some places are understood first through sound.
These streets remember a slower way of living.
Stillness doesn't stop life. It steadies it. When the view softens, the body exhales.
Everything continues without needing force.
And here, being present feels complete. When the air grows heavy with rain, thoughts grow light. This valley doesn't demand your focus, it gives it back. Markers exist only to remind us the journey continues.
Nothing here needs to be decided, it already is.
Some places are felt long before they are seen.
These paths were shaped for listening.
Calm doesn't disappear in the rain. It deepens.
When the world blurs, the body rests.
Everything continues without asking to be seen.
And here, remaining feels like the most natural answer.
The land doesn't ask the rain to stop. It lets it finish.
Here, nothing competes with silence. It becomes part of it.
Repetition becomes peace when it's allowed to continue.
They don't wait for calm. They recognize it.
Some places speak before they show themselves.
These streets were shaped by time, not urgency.
Stillness doesn't pause life, it steadies it.
When edges fade, the body exhales.
Everything continues without being pushed. And here, staying feels like the most natural thing to do. The ground carries your weight and asks nothing in return. This place doesn't pull you ahead, it lets you settle.
Care shows itself in what continues to bloom.
Some places announce themselves with sound, not sight.
They don't wait for the weather to change. They belong to it. These passages were shaped by patience.
Calm doesn't disappear in the rain. It sharpens.
When the view fades, the body rests.
Everything continues without asking permission. And here, staying feels more honest than leaving.
The land doesn't rush to dry. It lets the moment stay.
Here, even distance feels gentle. Time moves differently when nothing is forced.
They don't react to the rain. They accept it.
Some places speak before they appear.
Stillness doesn't stop life. It steadies it.
These streets remember a slower rhythm.
When edges soften, the body relaxes.
Everything continues without being pushed.
And here, being present feels complete.
The ground absorbs every sound and gives calm back. Here, nothing competes with silence. It joins it.
Small moments carry the longest weight.
They don't search for comfort, Aline, they remain inside it.
Some places speak before they reveal themselves.
These paths were shaped for patience.
Stillness isn't empty, it's listening. When the view fades, the body exhales.
Everything moves forward without being pushed.
And here, staying feels like the most natural choice.
The land accepts every drop and never asks when it will stop.
Nothing here tries to impress. It simply remains.
Care shows itself in what continues to grow.
They don't wait for calm. They live inside it.
Some places introduce themselves through sound. These passages were shaped by patience, not speed.
Stillness doesn't resist the storm. It understands it.
When edges soften, the body lets go.
Everything continues without needing to hurry. And here, staying feels like the most honest answer.
The land doesn't hold the rain. It shares it.
Here, the view doesn't ask for attention. It offers relief.
Time moves quietly when nothing interrupts it.
They don't wait for peace. They recognize it. Some places speak before they are seen.
These paths were shaped by patience.
Stillness isn't empty. It's listening.
When the view fades, the body exhales.
Everything continues without being pushed. And here, staying feels like the most natural choice.
Nothing here competes for space. Everything fits.
The land listens longer than we do, and that's why it feels calm. Rhythm doesn't rush, it repeats.
They don't ask what comes next. They stay.
Some places arrive through sound before sight.
These paths remember every unhurried step. Stillness isn't stopping, it's settling.
When edges disappear, rest becomes natural.
Everything continues without needing permission.
And here, nothing asks you to leave. Every step carries the memory of slower days.
Here, the landscape doesn't speak loudly, it speaks clearly.
The water never hesitates, it trusts the slope. Some places are felt first and understood later.
They don't wait for better weather. They belong to this one. When the world softens, the body follows.
Everything finds its way without being pushed. And here, staying feels like the right answer.
Age shows itself best when it's still useful.
Knowing when to stay is its own kind of movement.